But before I show you the figures of hope, I want you to consider why it is that you're not hearing this good news from many other media outlets, and why instead you're hearing only panic and fear and doom. Why you're hearing the alarmism that forces politicians to enforce yet more and more restrictions so that we'll soon live like prisoners in our own homes, while the dole queues around the country caused by those restrictions get longer and longer and longer. So many lives being destroyed. Now, let me explain that. Now, I've been in journalism for nearly 40 years. I've seen it up close, and I don't like a lot of what I've seen. The groupthink, the sensationalism, the exaggerations, the pandering to ignorance. In this crisis, when so many Australians are suffering, too many journalists are not stepping up to their responsibility, which I think is this: to be informed and to be calm. Now, let me give you the latest examples from the past 24 hours of the kind of journalism I don't think we can afford anymore. The scapegoating, for instance. Here is 2GB broadcaster Ray Hadley today blaming an unnamed official from the New South Wales Department of Health for the death of another passenger on the Ruby Princess, a woman who died a couple of days ago. Now, the death
has been caused by the stupidity of someone in New South Wales Health. Someone died because of a decision taken by a public servant or by someone in government, and that person needs to be held to account for that death.
Now, that scapegoating is utterly, utterly false. The passenger who died, the woman a few days ago, was in her 70s, and she caught the coronavirus on the ship. And by the time we got to Sydney, she was so sick she had to be taken straight to hospital in an ambulance. Now, of course, health officials are to blame for crazily letting off the passengers of the Ruby Princess before they got the results of the testing of them. And they've spread the virus around the country. There's 25 people just in South Australia alone, as a consequence, have got the virus. And on the other hand, you've got to accept that our health officials are working their backsides off under huge pressure, trying to deal with a virus that few people understand. And someone did make a mistake with the Ruby Princess, but blaming them for this woman's death is totally unfair, unnecessary, and does nobody any good. Then there was this thing last night from Carrie Bickmore of The Project, Channel 10, complaining that our politicians weren't telling her what to do in the detail that she apparently needed.
Be clear, lead us, tell us what you want us doing, what you don't want us doing, and then we can follow suit. But leaving it up to us to guess when this is not something we've navigated before, I think is really hard.
Yeah, you're kind of asking people to make decisions when we're not actually qualified to make them.
Now, I got on well with Carrie whenever I appeared on The Project, but we in the media have a special responsibility now. If we don't know what people should be doing, we should find out and tell the audience ourselves. The politicians are flat out trying to get on top of this crisis and to communicate with a public that's often too lazy to listen. Presenters and journalists must themselves help get out the message. We can't leave it to politicians alone, just sit on the sidelines throwing stones at them. We're all in this together. And finally, there's the doom-mongering and the sensationalism. Now, I could give you a million examples of that, but this is the one that really got me today of all days. Here's Labor's health spokesman, Chris Bowen.
The fact of the matter is, Fran, we have to be honest with people. What's been put in place so far is not working. We need to do more.
Nothing is working? That is false. That is irresponsibly alarmist. It makes people needlessly scared. And yet here is Channel 7 spreading the same false message of doom on its website. No measures taken so far to flatten the curve have had any effect on stopping the spread of COVID-19. Wrong.